hard to remember the exact details the day my relationship with water changed, but I can almost remember the exact feelings. As I was lying in my raft, staring up at the blue sky, letting the subtle drift of the waves take me somewhere, anywhere, I soon realized I was probably somewhere where I shouldn't be. I was 8 or 9 at the time, so not a worry in the world. But when I finally sat up, beyond the buoys and far from shore, I began to have the same paradoxical feelings I hold today. Fear and anxiety, coupled with love and adoration. How can I respect and admire something so deeply that I'm afraid of? This brings me to the feelings of awe. I've always grown up around blue spaces, around oceans, lakes, rivers. I even had a pool in my garden in sunny Southern California. But my relationship with water changed the moment I began to fear it. I now reserve moments to be near water, to include intentional awe. I will gladly sit on the beach for hours on end, staring into the sunlit sparkles of the waves, big and small, crashing to the shore, and never step foot in the water. I will watch my family splash and swim and frolic in the sea, and with the same uncertainty, realize I'm okay from afar. But there is something so mystical about open waters that nourishes my soul just by looking at them. And sometimes I'll succumb to a fully meditative state, one with the water, fully knowing that it is more powerful than I, but that we can coexist, and that as much as I long to be near water, and that as much as it is a presence in my life, I have to take care of it just as much as it takes care of me. So this reciprocity, this symbiotic relationship between water-based environments and our health and well-being is a place I take you to today. About 20 years ago, researchers started looking at how green spaces, parks, woods, forests, have a positive impact on our physical and mental health and life satisfaction. Access to green spaces is at the heart of environmental and social justice movements today. In other cultures, like Japan, doctors actually prescribe green spaces to improve health and well-being in what we know as forest bathing. The Japanese also have language for blue spaces called living water, where when you get into water, you actually pour some of yourselves into it. The water is not only alive on its own, it's alive with our emotions, with many soothing and calming properties. Similarly, in the UK, there's social prescribing, a form of personalized medicine where GPs can actually refer you to local non-clinical services like swim clubs or surf therapy. The WAVE project, which originated in Cornwall, has sprung up all over, including right here on the Isle of Wight, where they take children with specific health conditions out to the sea to learn how to surf. This is a lifeline for many of those that would not otherwise have access to the sea. Recognizing that our health and well-being are determined by a range of social, economic, and environmental factors, it's no wonder that blue spaces are prescribed to improve our subjective well-being, our mood, and even our vitality. For some, there's a very real physical relief for being completely immersed in water. For others, there's this incredible positive social aspect of being connected to others in water, something that transcends socioeconomic status. And for many others, there's a psychological boost, the blue mind, just by looking at, being next to, or immersed in water in all of its forms. Green and blue spaces also help regulate the anxiety and panic centers in our brain. We see evidence of this with cold water therapy to treat depression and reduce inflammation. Water not only reduces stress levels and improves our mood, but it can improve our physical fitness, as we tend to be more physically active when we live near blue spaces, seek them out for exercise, seek them out for holiday. How many of you have upgraded to a sea view or ocean view? Have you ever reflected on why? More recently, researchers from the Blue Health Project, which was an initiative that examined the links between urban blue spaces, climate change, and health, found three main avenues leading to these reactions: the physical, environmental, and psychologically restorative effects of water. Water not only fosters relaxation and improves our mood, but it can help mitigate against environmental problems. Through urban planning and design, we can continue to build fountains and waterways to reduce urban heat and rising temperatures. So what do we do with all of this? I'm going to ask you to give yourself 1 hour. 1 hour to think, not just about water itself, but the entirety of a blue space, the layers of features, the multifaceted application to our health and well-being, and how all of these factors interact with each other. Now, this hour may seem arbitrary, but when was the last time you took this amount of time to stop and reflect about anything? 1 hour to think about what if and why not. What if we changed our relationship and connection with water, just as if we've considered changing our relationship with technology and our doom-scrolling habits on social media? Now, I can reinforce this with some statistics that some of you might already know, like increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere acidifies the ocean, killing the phytoplankton that produces 50% of the oxygen we breathe. Or that 12 million tons of plastic enters our ocean every year, and if stacked is taller than Mount Everest. But a very wise and inspirational woman called Arianna Huffington once said, "The problem is that we're drowning in data, but starved for wisdom." What if every household took responsibility for their actions and not only participated in water conservation activities, but reflected on what's happening globally, nationally, locally? There are very few individuals that have leverage to make impact on a global scale, but all of us have an impact on our community, on our networks, on our friends and family. Now, taking all of this in, what can you do? How does this all fit into your daily lives? Starting locally can help combat some of this eco-anxiety around a massive problem that seems too big to tackle on our own. Starting locally can help close those gaps between our intentions and our actions. What if you took those intentions and put them towards curiosity and exploration, reflecting on your love of the water, reflecting on your desire and love for clean, drinkable, safe to bathe in, safe to splash in water? Although the literature and evidence behind blue spaces is still evolving, Dr. Catherine Kelly, in her book called Blue Spaces, recommends a 5-step approach that many organizations use to work towards well-being, a concept devised by the New Economics Forum. Number 1, connect. Number 2, be active. Number 3, notice. Number 4, learn. And number 5, give. Now let's take this and put it towards an individual process using that reciprocity lens, which can help deepen our understanding about these concepts. Number 1, connect with yourself, with others, by the sea, in the sea, choosing a favorite beach or a favorite local spot that contains water creates emotional bonds or positive connections to places. These are called emotional geographies that produce and strengthen our environmental connectedness. Number 2, be active. Be physically active in the sea, near the sea, by yourself, with others. There's a range of benefits from being physically active, including improving our cardiovascular health, our sleep patterns, our moods, and even the connection to our mental health. But being active also means being socially engaged and taking action. Be active, take action. Number 3, notice. Notice your mood before, during, and after being near blue spaces, being around blue spaces, being in blue spaces. Notice your surroundings and the sensory nature of water itself. Notice how water makes you feel, producing a sense of awe or perspective that restores our attention and brings presence to our daily lives. Wallace J. Nichols, in his book called Blue Mind, calls this drift, where our mental attention is not forced or directed, rather involuntary and therefore more peaceful. Number 4, learn. Intentional learning, lifelong learning about our natural resources and environment produces awareness and understanding of all these concepts and therefore our willingness to take care of blue spaces. But we also need that space to learn about new models that we can put towards existing problems, where we can learn about new energy and new ways to bring this into our daily lives. Many governments and organizations are doing a lot to protect their blue spaces and are starting to incorporate the health and well-being narrative into policy and planning. But we need to learn more about the reciprocal exchange between our actions, behaviors, and the experiences of those benefiting from coastal well-being while participating in marine sustainability. Number 5, give. I would say the most important. Give more than you take. Water conservation efforts are not at odds with our pure enjoyment of the water. These problems are big, yes. They are overwhelming, yes. But our blue spaces need us. They need us to protect them from us. The health and well-being of our populations is inextricably linked with the health of our waters. If we are to continue to use blue spaces for our own benefit, it is critical to think about how we collectively interact and protect them. It's critical to think about what we do with these spaces that nourish us and keep us well on so many levels. What if we actually realized we are dependent on interdependence? This is not a quest to find the final answer. This is a quest to deepen your personal reciprocity and our collective responsibility. Thank you.